fight me. All I wanna say is that they don't really care about us. All I wanna say is that they don't really care about us. Tell me what has become of my life. I have a wife and two children who love me. I am the victim of police brutality. No, I'm tired of being the victim of hate. Remember me, I'm a pride, for God's sake. I let the color to fulfill this prophecy. Set me free, skin-headed. Everybody gone past competition. Beat me, hate me, you can never break me. Will me, thrill me, you can never kill me. Chew me, sue me, everybody do me. Kick me, kite me, don't jump like a fight me. All I wanna say is that they don't really care about us. All I wanna say is that they don't really care about us. Tell me what has become of my life. I have a wife and two children who love me. I am the victim of police brutality. No, I'm tired of being the victim of hate. Remember me, I'm a pride, for God's sake. I let the color to fulfill this prophecy. Set me free, skin-headed. Everybody gone past competition. Beat me, hate me, you can never break me. Will me, thrill me, you can never kill me. Chew me, sue me, everybody do me. Kick me, kite me, don't jump like a fight me. All I wanna say is that they don't really care about us. All I wanna say is that they don't really care about us. Tell me what has become of my life. I have a wife and two children who love me. I am the victim of police brutality. No, I'm tired of being the victim of hate. Remember me, I'm a pride, for God's sake. I let the color to fulfill this prophecy. Set me free, skin-headed. Everybody gone past competition. Beat me, hate me, you can never break me. Will me, thrill me, you can never kill me. Chew me, sue me, everybody do me. Kick me, kite me, don't jump like a fight me. All I wanna say is that they don't really care about us. All I wanna say is that they don't really care about us. Tell me what has become of my life. I have a wife and two children who love me. I am the victim of police brutality. No, I'm tired of being the victim of hate. Remember me, I'm a pride, for God's sake. I let the color to fulfill this prophecy. Set me free, skin-headed. Everybody gone past competition. Beat me, hate me, you can never break me. Will me, thrill me, you can never kill me. Chew me, sue me, everybody do me. Kick me, kite me, don't jump like a fight me. All I wanna say is that they don't really care about us. All I wanna say is that they don't really care about us. Tell me what has become of my life. I have a wife and two children who love me. I am the victim of police brutality. No, I'm tired of being the victim of hate. Remember me, I'm a pride, for God's sake. I let the color to fulfill this prophecy. Set me free, skin-headed. Everybody gone past competition. Beat me, hate me, you can never break me. Will me, thrill me, you can never kill me. Chew me, sue me, everybody do me. Kick me, kite me, don't jump like a fight me. All I wanna say is that they don't really care about us. All I wanna say is that they don't really care about us. Tell me what has become of my life. I have a wife and two children who love me. I am the victim of police brutality. No, I'm tired of being the victim of hate. Remember me, I'm a pride, for God's sake. I let the color to fulfill this prophecy. Set me free, skin-headed. Everybody gone past competition. Beat me, hate me, you can never break me. Will me, thrill me, you can never kill me. Chew me, sue me, everybody do me. Kick me, kite me, don't jump like a fight me. All I wanna say is that they don't really care about us. All I wanna say is that they don't really care about us. Tell me what has become of my life. I have a wife and two children who love me. I am the victim of police brutality. No,
May I have your attention, please?
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the final countdown. The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
laps, 3 sets of tires, as they're rolling off pit road.
Roger, you got a copy up there? I do, sir. You ready to kick this thing off? Let's rock and roll. Hey, stars off. You ready?
Green flag, you are racing once again in the Rat Pink Racing League.
First opportunity getting into turn 1 and 2, and they're going to see Nate Lesko on the bottom side of that Nesquik Toyota Camry. Huge run.
John Crosby in the 77. We'll go at it, the 73 and the 77. Door into 1
out
and 2.
of turn 4, and they start heading back. Oh, they made wreck 18th round. Big move on Ringer. Just hurled it to the inside. That was nearly a mess.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light was so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. Oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets regular upon singing out, yeah, through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jacob Williams, and I will be the host for the majority of tonight's race in the RFRL Thursday night Nextgen series. Will Tiller will be joining me here shortly later. We were not live last week, so we'll kind of go through a little bit of our routine race recap from week number 9 at Bristol Motor Speedway. The podium finishers of last week was our first place finish, Ty McIntosh. Second place, the notorious Jordan Tross kind of made a showing. Typically Jordan races in the trucks, but it looked like he was able to participate in the Next Gen series last Thursday. And then all of our fan favorite, like Mr. Will likes to call him, Mr. W, John Crosby in that P3 position. And with that being said, we're going to kind of go through the standings as the guys are wrapping up their warm-up lap. And with that being said, so currently we have John Crosby in that first place spot. Second spot is going to be Mr. Tom Ringer. And now we're going to have a little bit of a curveball for that second and third spot, because Tom Ringer just had shoulder surgery, and so he is going to be out, I do believe, for the remainder of the season. So with that being said, we will see Todd Perrant, and then right behind him, Cody Deek, creep up in that second and third place spot, because again, roughly Todd's about 14 points behind Tom, and then Cody is roughly 17 points behind Tom and 3 points behind Todd Perrant. So with that being said, depending upon how these guys finish this evening, I mean, that can really shake up the standings at that point and allow them to be able to get into that podium finish. And then actually, you know, as I'm looking at the standings, Brandon Hinton, Cody Deek and Brandon Hinton are both tied. So it'll be interesting because we have Brandon Hinton this week on track and Cody Deek as well. So it'll be interesting to see how it's all going to shake up. You know, are we going to have Brandon Hinton in that third place spot, or are we going to have Cody Deek? We'll see how tonight shakes up. And with that being said, we roughly, actually no, we are warm-up lap is finishing, so we are going to see these boys grid up, and we're going to go through the starting grid. In row number 1, we have John Crosby and Jonathan McIntosh. In row number 2, we have Tyler Waltz and Zach Engel. Row number 3, we have Will Weber and Todd Perrant. Row number 4, we have Mr. Newcomer Cameron Goley and notorious Thomas Wynn. Row number 5, we have Victor Etheridge and fan favorite Chuck Burley. Good to see Chuck out on the track. Row number 6, Brandon Hinton and Sean Dion. Row number 7, Brandon Yates and Ethan Horst. Row number 8, Jesse Gordon and Anthony Harden. And for everyone who didn't tune in to our Tuesday night series, Jesse Gordon was our first place finisher in the truck series. Row number 9, Brian Sousa and Cody Deek. And row number 10, we have Mr. Alan Bergen. That will wrap up our grid for this evening. John Crosby as our pole sitter, next to him Jonathan McIntosh, and in that second row Tyler Waltz and Zach Engel. So we will see how the start is going to be. Pace car is in, and here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Thursday night Nextgen series is underway. Everyone's bunching up. Hopefully we get a little bit of some fender bender action already. Green flag, here we come. Side by side with Will Weber, Jonathan McIntosh, John Crosby out front, Tyler Waltz in second, Cameron Goley behind Will Weber and Jonathan McIntosh, our notorious Hornet Cest shortly behind him, going side by side through 1 and 2. Victor Etheridge, Zach Engel, Brandon Hinton. Behind them, we have Thomas Wynn, Cody Deek, and Todd Perrant. And like I was saying earlier, so we have Brandon Hinton a little bit further out front than Cody Deek. We'll see if Cody will end up working his way through the field to get some more points and get that third place spot. Todd Perrant shortly behind him. Chuck Burley behind Todd. Ooh, John Crosby kind of switched really quick up into the wall, rocking a new paint scheme of that W Energy. Tyler Waltz behind him. Jesse Gordon already up 10 spots, putting the hammer down on the gas pedal this evening. Going 3 wide behind him, got Zach Engel, Victor Etheridge, and Cameron Goley. Victor Etheridge right there on the backside of Zach Engel, kind of giving him a little bit of push down the front stretch going into 1 and 2. Thomas Wynn right there on the backside of Victor Etheridge. Zach Engel in front of Victor. Brandon Hinton in front. Everyone's starting to get a little bit spread out now. A little single file action. Got Jonathan McIntosh getting taken over by Jesse Gordon. Both Jesse and Jonathan McIntosh are both a part of Bad Company Racing. We'll kind of see how the team is shaking out this evening. Jesse Gordon in 4th, Jonathan McIntosh in 5th, Victor Etheridge in 8th, and Brandon Yates in 12th. Ooh, Jesse getting a little tight going up into 1, midway through 1, and coming out of 2. Cody Deek, Anthony Harden, Brian Sousa right there off to the right, and Brian and Todd Perrant. Cameron Goley behind Todd Perrant. Cameron fell roughly about 7 positions from the start of the green flag, and Todd Perrant as well. Really not going to look good for Todd on that points battle between him and Cody Deek. So at this point, we'll kind of see how this evening will end up shaking up, because, again, like I was saying earlier, Tom Ringer is officially, I do believe, out for the season. You know, we do have about, including this evening, about 5 more races to be able to acquire some more points. But with that, I think Cody's going to actually end up becoming that second place position in the point standings, depending upon how he finishes. But at this point, Todd needs to pick up the pace, because it's not going to look good for him. Ooh, Jesse Gordon right there on the backside of Tyler Waltz. Jesse Gordon and John Crosby probably going to end up battling it out again like they were on Tuesday night. Both of them at Dover were side by side for the majority of the race, but then Jesse he just put the hammer down, and then at that point, John just kind of trying to keep up with Jesse, ended up burning his tires up and just slowly but surely fell towards the middle of the pack. And at that point, Tyler Waltz getting loose right there. I wonder if there's a little side-by-side action, possibly a little bit of some door banging, but it looks like Tyler just ended up maybe getting a little loose out of 2. Entering the pits now? No? Coming back on the track? Jesse Gordon up in second now. We'll see how quickly he can catch up to John Crosby to battle for that first place spot. What we'll do is we'll kind of take a look to see what happened between Tyler Waltz and Jesse Gordon back there. Doesn't look like there was any contact between the two. It looks like Tyler just ended up getting a little loose out of two at that point. Yeah, I just got loose right there and just kind of got away from him. Luckily, you know, he ended up saving it. Ooh, Jesse up in the wall of things, and what we'll do is we'll ride on board with Jesse. Ooh, Jesse getting loose at this point out of two. Essentially what he just did with, or what Tyler just did as well. Ooh, he got lucky and saved it and didn't hit that lower wall. Oh, into traffic. Thomas Wynn into the backside of Jesse Gordon. What a horrible way to get back on track at that point, man. Good save from Thomas. You know, nothing too crazy. Woo. What a massive checkup at that point that Thomas had to end up doing. Wynn family probably at the edge of their seat this evening after watching that. Whew. Anthony Harden on the backside. Jonathan McIntosh going side by side through 1 and 2. Ooh, almost made contact right there. A little door-to-door action. Check back in on our race leader, John Crosby. And ladies and gentlemen, as always, John's always rocking the W Energy paint scheme. For those who are interested in a little bit of some W Energy, we will show a little bit of a promo code that you can get 10% off if you use code JC73 for 10% off any W Energy purchase. Again, use code JC73 for 10% off. We're right on board with Mr. John Crosby. Calm, cool, and collective. White Lightning, Mr. Victor Etheridge right there, passing or getting close to passing Brandon Hinton right there on that lower lane. Well, I spoke a little too soon. We'll see if Victor can end up keeping it clean and making that pass on the bottom side of Brandon Hinton. Jonathan McIntosh, Anthony Harden, Jesse Gordon. Looks like possibly going 3 wide. Ooh, looks like Chuck Burley up into the wall. Man, Jesse Gordon and Jonathan McIntosh, both teammates kind of almost looks like they're battling it out. I wonder if Jonathan's going to allow Jesse to kind of pass by, or if is Jonathan going to end up? No, he's going to allow Jesse to pass by at that point. Looks like Brandon, no, Victor has about a 0.3 of a second gap of Brandon Hinton. We'll see if he ends up catching to Zach Engel, who is roughly about 0.8 in front of him. Todd Perrant, Cameron Goley, Brian Sousa. Ooh, almost into the side of Cameron Goley at that point from Todd Perrant. Cody Deek right there, and Jesse Gordon, Jonathan McIntosh, Chuck Burley. Ooh, Anthony Harden up into the wall a little bit back there, battling out with Tyler Waltz. Tyler Waltz and Anthony Harden coming through 1 and 2, about to exit out of 2. Tyler Waltz right there on the backside of Anthony Harden. Tyler going to take that outside line. Ooh. Got Ethan Horst, a little bit of a checkup right there in front of them. Nice clean passes both between Anthony Harden and Tyler Waltz on that lap traffic. Ethan Horst about a lap down currently. We're going to check in. Looks like Jesse Gordon ended up making the pass on Cody Deek. See if Jesse can get back up there and battle it out with John Crosby. Victor Etheridge in that 4th position. Right behind him, teammate Jesse Gordon, Brandon Hinton, Cody Deek. And it looks like Brandon Hinton and Cody Deek are kind of battling it out right now. Ooh, Jesse Gordon, Brandon Hinton, Cody Deek. Cody Deek right there in that lower lane going into 1 and 2. Cody Deek going to pass on the inside, and then right behind him, you got Jonathan McIntosh as well. But, you know, coming out of exit, you'll have Brandon Hinton, who's going to end up having a little bit more speed out of exit. Well, I say that. Actually, you got Jonathan McIntosh right now making the pass on the bottom side of Brandon Hinton. Victor Etheridge right there on the high side, kind of washing his way up to the outside wall. Ooh, Jesse Gordon to the wall. Looks like Jesse is getting a little bit of tight coming out of exit. I wonder if he unfortunately has burnt his tires up and is just getting tight going through the corner. Well, now I say that, you know, he's running that lower lane, but now hitting the high side. Lap 34 of 115 for everyone who is tuning in. Green flag all the way through. No cautions yet. It's been a great green flag run. Roughly, we have a fuel window. Guys were saying prior to the race, during practice, they were getting about anywhere between 50 to 53 laps, depending upon how hard they pushed going through. So we roughly have about 16, 17 laps left before these guys are going to have to start doing good old pit strategy. So we'll see who's going to end up pitting first, or if everyone's going to end up doing the traditional single file line and follow the leader into the pits. Thomas Wynn and Anthony Harden battling out for that 13th position. Thomas Wynn on the bottom side going to go low. Almost hits that apron a little too close for comfort. Side by side through 2. Thomas Wynn makes that pass clean coming out of 2. We got a battle for the 3rd position. Cody Deek, Jesse Gordon, Victor Etheridge, and Jonathan McIntosh. You know, right now it's pretty much you got 1 against 3. You got 1 against Bad Company Racing at that point. And we're going to see, you know, ultimately, are we going to play the team strategy, or is it going to be every man for himself? You know, you got Victor right there on the high side, Jesse Gordon on the low. Woo! Victor into the wall, almost getting into the side of Jonathan McIntosh. A little bit too close for comfort. Chuck Burley going to end up capitalizing on that mistake from Victor Etheridge at that point and take away that 6th position. Zach Engel right there behind Victor Etheridge. Victor Etheridge has the speed out of 2, but does a little bit of a checkup. Don't know really why. Zach Engel's going to have to make the pass on the outside. Chuck Burley just running his race at that point. Will Weber been pretty consistent all night long in that 2nd place spot. Cody Deek shortly behind him. Jesse Gordon kind of dove into the corner a little bit. Then looks like he got tight, but running that high side line is going to, right there, gets into the wall. That's not going to help his case to get that 3rd place spot. Jonathan McIntosh right there on the backside of him. Cody Deek going to make the pass on the lower lane of Will Weber. A little bit of brush between Will Weber. Going door to door through 1 and 2. Jesse Gordon going to try and capitalize on the lower lane of Will Weber. See if we can keep it clean. Side by side coming out 2 between Will Weber and Jesse Gordon. Jonathan McIntosh right there on the backside of Will Weber as well. Cody Deek just staying out front barely. Being able to pick up some distance amongst the 3 behind him from the 3 back there battling it out, but Jesse Gordon ended up making the pass on Will Weber. We'll see if Jonathan McIntosh can be able to pass him as well. Yep, and he did. Jonathan McIntosh passed Will Weber and just following Jesse Gordon, doing a little bit of a great teammate run between the 2. Will Weber getting a little loose entering into pit lane. Will Weber will be the first one to go down pit road this evening. Oh, actually, I apologize. Brandon Hinton was the first one to enter. No, that was yeah. Brandon Hinton was the first one. We'll pop this up really quick. Yep, Brandon Hinton. No, Anthony Harden had entered the pits. Brian Sousa had entered the pits. And at that point, yeah, Anthony Harden was no, Brian Sousa was the first one. Anthony Harden was second. Brandon Hinton third. Will Weber fourth. Check in on our race leader, John Crosby. About a second and a half, about a second and 6/10 of a pace in front of Cody Deek at that point. So now we're going to end up seeing, is Jesse Gordon going to be able to creep up towards Cody Deek to battle it out for that second spot? Ooh, right there you see Jesse Gordon and Jonathan McIntosh and Chuck Burley kind of not getting into it, but almost 3 wide, coming into 1, coming out of 2. Tyler Waltz picking up the pace. You know, he got a little loose earlier on in the race. Coming out of 2, lost quite a few positions. Currently down 3 from where he had originally started at the green flag. Right on board with Mr. Tyler Waltz. Ooh, Todd Perron back up towards the front. And right now we're going to check in on Thomas Wynn. Thomas Wynn is actually has already entered the pit, exiting the pit. Looks like John Crosby's going to end up staying out until probably the end of his fuel run. Probably more likely same thing for Cody Deek, Jesse Gordon, and Jonathan McIntosh. But also, we'll end up seeing if Jesse Gordon and Jonathan McIntosh are going to do both enter the pits at the same time, or are they going to alternate as a teammate strategy. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to go to a quick commercial break, and we will be back here momentarily.
When the days are cold and the cards all fold and the saints we see are all made of gold, when your dreams all fail and the ones we hail are the worst of all and the bloods run stale, I wanna hide the truth, I wanna shelter you, but with the beast inside, there's nowhere we can hide. No matter what we breed, we still are made of greed. This is my kingdom come, this is my kingdom come. When you pull my feet, look into my eyes, it's where my demons hide, it's where my demons hide. Don't get too close, it's dark inside, it's where my demons hide, it's where my demons hide. When the days are cold and the cards all fold and the saints we see are all made of gold, when your dreams all fail and the ones we hail are the worst of all and the bloods run stale, I wanna hide the truth, I wanna shelter you, but with the beast inside, there's nowhere we can hide. No matter what we
And we are back, and looks like we had a caution while we were on break. Let's take a look to see what happened. Well, unfortunately, do not know what the yellow flag is for. Okay, well, might have been a self spin or a late stop on the track. And right now, while everyone's entering the pits, what we will do, we are going to, we're going to pull Mr. John Crosby up in the booth and see what happened there. John, you got a copy?
Yeah, what's going on?
Hey, you were live in the booth. I was on commercial break, and I wanted to see what happened. What brought out that caution?
I have no idea. I think I don't know. I don't want to throw anyone under the bus, but I have an idea of what happened. But
You think possibly a self spin or something?
yeah, I think so. And I
Oh.
think I think it was Jesse,
Oh,
but I don't know because I think he was running third, and then I see him in eighth. So I don't know exactly what happened.
Gotcha. Well, John, kind of take us through how's I mean, you've ran out front the majority of the race. Is the car feeling pretty good, or is it pretty tight, pretty loose? Kind of walk us through how the car is feeling.
It's fine. I've been just out front saving is what I've been doing. I really didn't know. I knew we were gonna have a caution, and our fuel window is like 50 something ish.
Mhm.
So it's a weird window. So yeah, I don't know. Just trying to save fuel, but it's hard to save fuel out front. So yeah, no, the car feels fine. Alpha 2 is really loose though.
Well, gotcha. Well, shoot, the lights out, or the lights are out on the pace car. So, buddy, I'm gonna let you get back to your team channel, and best of luck to you, and keep on running a good race, my friend.
I appreciate it, and Will, welcome in, buddy.
I have him muted, but I'm sure he heard you.
Pace lights are off of that pace car. We were just joined by John Crosby. Jacob, it is a joy to be up here in the booth with you here on this restart. Let's get it rocking and rolling once again from Kansas.
Yes, sir. Good to have you, Will. Sorry I had you muted. I knew you were kind of getting all situated and set up, and I was like, well, I'll just kind of have you muted, and then, yeah, my bad. But good to have you, brother. And no, it's been a pretty clean race all race long, but now we got Jesse Gordon. Looks like out front. And again, this is another weird restart. Jesse Gordon in second, Cody Deacon third, our notorious Mr. W Energy himself out front in first. And so we'll see kind of, Cody Deacon to the wall right there.
Yeah, and a big move there in that third position as well. Jonathan McIntosh going at it with Cody Deak. Watch that Batmobile. Jesse Gordon now in that second spot. And John Crosby, I don't know if you mentioned it here tonight, though, Jacob. He has about 5 or 6 wins in the season, but that streak ended last week. I think this could be the week that tidal wave starts to shift a little bit here, 55 laps into this race, with some great runs out of some of these new names so far.
Yeah, no, I didn't mention that, John had 5 wins, or no, actually six wins. But yeah, no, for the past 2 weeks, he's been on the, I can't remember the week before, or no. 2 weeks before. But I know last week he was on the podium. He finished third, and he's not racing currently, but Ty McIntosh, he ended up winning the race at Bristol, and then Jordan Tross was in second at that point, and then John came in third. So, yeah, no, we'll see if John's going to end up try and get his streak going again, but he has a pretty hefty lead in the points currently, so I don't think he's really too worried about it, but we'll see.
Yeah, and those battles currently inside of the top 10. You have Anthony Harden going at it with Tyler Waltz right there. That's for the 8th and 9th position. Look at the 76 machine in the mix as well. That's a goalie right there. He's trying to crack inside of that top 5. Quite a battle right here between that John Deere machine and the 77. Here comes Will Weber in the 40. It's been a minute since we've called out his name here in this Next Gen series. Will Weber now inside of the top 10.
No, and I want to say Will ended up, he kind of got pretty hefty out the gate in terms of, I feel like he burned his tires up pretty quick. And so as the race progressed, guys were kind of making the pass on him as I want to say we got to like lap 40, 42. He kind of fell towards the back, and then his pit entry was a little squirrely getting loose. But then at that point, he was running pretty consistently in second. Ooh, right there, Todd Perrott and Cody Deek as well, going side by side through 1 and 2. And then Victor Etheridge on the backside of his teammate, Jonathan McIntosh.
As you watch Todd Perrott go to the inside of the 13 here in the entry of 3 and 4, lap 59 right now, that 69 machine. Trying to move up the grid. This is to stay inside of that top 5. And Jacob, you mentioned it. There are 2 hungry dogs right behind Todd. There is the 09 of McIntosh and the 6th machine of Victor Etheridge, who are now lockstep with one another, single file. They're going 1, 2, 3 on the racetrack. There goes Etheridge to the backside of the 09, going to push him along that low side of the racetrack. Victor Etheridge now a little bit of a slow exit, has to go to the top side. We're single file into 3 and 4.
Yes, sir. And like I was saying earlier, and Will, I don't know if you were able to catch it, but we'll kind of pull up the point standings one more time for everyone who's tuning in and kind of catching up to the race. But currently, John Crosby with a pretty hefty lead, 60-point lead in front of Tom Ringer, and then right there behind him you have Todd Perrott and Cody Deek, and Tom just had his surgery. I want to say it was yesterday, so he is going to be out for the majority of the rest of the season for the Next Gen series. So now it's going to be a toss-up between Todd Perrott, Cody Deek, and Brandon Hinton, because Cody Deek and Brandon Hinton are both tied in points currently.
Whoa, as we just saw Todd Perrott bounce off that top side wall. It's really that opportunity for both of these guys, Jacob, here tonight. You got to break through here tonight, or the season will get away from you. For Todd Perrott and Cody Deek, you
going 3 wide right there.
Yeah, look at that move out of Victor Etheridge. Wow! Bringing out the watermelons, looking like Ross Chastain on the top side wall as he comes off of 2. Victor Etheridge looking like a man on the mission, currently up to 6 on the racetrack.
Yeah.
And to speak on Cody Deek and Todd Perrott, who we're taking a look at here, they need to win. They need to crack through here or the season will get away. Tom Ringer, we want to send all of his best wishes and prayers his way for that surgery that happened, that soldier surgery, but boy, he had a nice points padding session there for the longest run. A lot of podium finishes out of Tom. But now it's time for somebody else to step up. And who will that be here tonight? Currently, Cody Deek is I would say, the biggest name to rise so far out of those names that struggle week in and week out. Cody's up to 3rd, McIntosh 4th, Waltz 5th, Todd Perrott 6th, Victor Etheridge 7th, goalie in 8th, Will Weber 9th, and Anthony Harden is our top 10 currently on the racetrack. And the thing that stands out to me here, Jacob, 64 laps into this race, John's not really checking out with this race like he usually does. You know, usually he gets out to these big, long leads. He's able to span it out. You know, it shrinks sometimes as the equipment starts to balance out. But right now, Jesse Gordon's doing a great job of keeping pace.
Yeah, no, and, you know, but prior to that caution and towards the end of their fuel window, John had about a second and a half of a lead from that second place spot. And I mean, but now we're, you know, currently looking at about 0.4 of a second. So we'll end up seeing if Jesse's going to end up catching up to him and getting that first place spot from him.
Jesse Gordon in that Batmobile machine to the low side of the racetrack. Looks a though a lot of the guys, they like the low side here at Kansas across that start-finish line. Going to make it 66 into 1. And he's catching that draft coming off that back bumper of the 73 to 1 and 2 here, Jacob. Now, my question is, do you just lay back now that you've caught the 73, or do you try to pull out in that open air?
Ooh, I would say you probably just fall back, or not fall back, but I'd say you just try to ride his tail essentially and just pick up that draft, because Kansas is more of a, not a super speedway, but it is a speedway at that point. And you can definitely pick up a really good draft coming down the back stretch and the front stretch.
It's also a very winding racetrack, and what I mean by that, folks, is you see there's not high bankings as you would see at a Charlotte or a Texas. These are more level corners, but that gives you more of an opportunity, Jacob, to kind of swing your car around. You watch here, these guys will go to the low side of the racetrack. Will Weber, Todd Perront, good example of it right there. Will Weber to the low side. As he comes off of the corner, he's going to let that car just almost swing all the way to the top side. And you see some guys brush that top side wall when they come off of the corner. Same thing when they enter one. They're going to try to swing that car as far as they can to the top, dive it all the way down to the low side. So it's a lot of winding corners here at Kansas, especially here off of 2. You're going to come off of the corner, try to get as close to that top side wall as you can. And that's sort of your lines here at the racetrack.
Yeah, no, it's I feel like there's quite a few lines to be able to run Kansas, but you're not wrong. The one that's probably the most consistent, and it's been a little bit since I've raced at Kansas as well. So from tire wear, I don't know. I don't remember off the top of my head which line burns up the tires the most. I want to say it is going to be that bottom line, because that is where you pick up majority of your speed. But with Kansas, there are, if you figure out the appropriate way to run the line that works best for you, you can really pick up the pace in this track.
As we watch now, 70 laps into 1:15, keeping an eye out on McIntosh, currently inside of that top 5. Todd Perront there as well. Will Weber in that 40 machine. Good to see him back in the mix. Currently up to 6, and these guys just really in lockstep with one another here, Jacob. Going to take an onboard ride with the 69 of Todd Perront into 3 and 4. Currently finds himself in that 7th position. But right now, it's just that strategy of when to get that last stop in and how far you can make this run go as we go into 1 and 2. And just out of the front windshield of Todd Perront, you see Victor Etheridge in this 6th. He will take that spot away from Todd Perront. Now Victor Etheridge up to 7th. And you see right there, Jacob, that was a great example of that tire wear situation. As you were explaining, Todd's trying to get that race car to the low side of the racetrack. He can't now because of that tire wear. And that opened the door for Will Weber to basically just take the inside lane, take the spot away from him, didn't really have to do much.
Yeah, no, and then as we're saying that, Todd, even though he wasn't able to make the pass on going through the corner, on that back stretch, I mean, he ended up picking up a pretty good draft. And right here, he's going to pick up the draft off of Victor Etheridge. We'll see if he's going to end up going low. No, he's going to stay high at that point. He didn't feel comfortable entering into the corner.
Yeah, battle's not over between the two of those guys. Will Weber just ahead of these guys battling it out, and behind them you have Gully in that 76 machine, currently in that 9th spot, hitting now inside of the top 10 with that 5. A lot of moving parts here in this top 10. Just as we were mentioning, though, John Crosby not pulling away. He has now built that lead up to a 2nd over Jesse Gordon as the field comes roaring by the camera into the corner. Very fanned out here on the racetrack, guys. Starting to drift up to the middle, to the top side. Oh, Victor Etheridge gets loose. I was just watching him go way up the racetrack. got completely loose, and you can see what happens if you get too high on those corners and try to get on the gas. You go sideways. Great save out of the 6.
Yeah, no, and that's kind of that. It's been happening to a decent amount of guys in this race, exiting out of 2. They just get super loose right there, and then trying to save it. And it happened to Tyler Waltz earlier, and luckily it didn't. Good thing Todd didn't get into the backside of him, luckily. But it happened to Tyler Waltz earlier, and he lost quite a few positions because of that.
Yeah, it's one of those tricky exits, I'd have to say. On a wider banking racetrack, you could probably get away with it a little bit more, Jacob, on that late, basically that late reapply of the gas pedal. Of course, you're letting off into the corners, letting the car do its thing. But the higher on the racetrack you go, the more trickier it is to get back on the gas pedal. See, Victor's basically stuck on that high side. He's going to try to exit here, and it's all about that timing to get a little bit of wiggle right there. Yeah, and it's right when you go to get back on that gas pedal, that car is going to want to try to just tail end from you, whereas if you have the car on the low side, it's stuck. So when you get back on that gas pedal, oh my goodness.
White lightning coming in hot. Ooh, he's going to get a black flag. Bring out the lawnmower, baby.
Yeah, going down the infield grass. It looks as though those tires have left the chat for Victor Etheridge.
Ooh.
He is just trying to hold that. Oh, yeah, that'll do it as he goes nose first into the top sidewall. Right here on the front stretch, no caution flag yet.
Oh, there it is.
There it is. There it is. It has been tripped as Victor Etheridge.
Jesus.
Yeah, those tires are gone. The tires are gone on the 6 machine of Victor Etheridge, who is now struggling to get that thing. Has to go all the way around, Jacob, or else, yeah, I don't think he can do it. I think that car is gone. He's going to have to just, take it to the garage. And unfortunately, that's probably going to wrap up Victor's night, I would have to guess, here on the second caution. With all that damage he sustained there to the front end, those tires are essentially shot as well. Boy, what a way to announce that second caution and to get into this next wave of pit stops.
Yeah, no, that's unfortunate for Victor Etheridge. And, Will, with that being said, we are going to go to another quick commercial break, okay?
Let's do it.
At the starting of the week, at Summit Talks, you'll hear them speak. It's only Monday. Negotiations breaking down. See those leaders start to frown. It's sword and gun day. Tomorrow never comes until it's too late. At the starting of the week, at Summit Talks, you'll hear them speak. It's only Monday. Negotiations breaking down. See those leaders start to frown. It's sword and gun day. Tomorrow never comes until it's too late. At the start.
We are back here in the rock chalk state of Kansas here, and our second caution of the night just came out because Victor Etheridge brought out his ice skates here, Jacob. I'd have to say, for the best example of that, was very, very loose off the corner, tried to get down pit road with a full head of steam, got completely sideways on the entry of pit road, headed down the infield grass, went all the way across the grass, tried to re-enter the racetrack, and went nose first into the top side wall. And Jacob, we were trying to figure out how that could happen. I guess my best guess is that he just lost those tires completely on that car.
Yeah, no, when before they, the lights are out on the pace car, so we'll have to make it quick, but we'll kind of just replay it really quick.
So we'll watch that official replay here. This is what brought out our second caution of the night here live on the Ratfig Racing Thursday night Next Gen Series. Oh,
Brandon
boy. There
Hinton.
was a little bit of, yeah.
I wonder if the air got out from underneath him, but it looked like he was already getting loose out of 4, and at that point he went through the grass, and it was just...
And I think for, of course, Victor has a lot more experience behind the wheel than I do. I think maybe staying on the apron would have been the better option there down the front stretch. I think putting those tires back up on the racetrack with no grip. And see right here, he can't even get the thing straight. It's done. And I think once he tried to come back up onto the racetrack, you went completely sideways.
Yeah.
But it's time to kick off the last run of the race as the pace car pulls off. It will be Jesse Gordon, Tyler Watts, Will Weber, Jonathan McIntosh, John Crosby, Todd Brock, Brennan Hinton, Goey, Anthony Harden, and Sousa on the restart as Jesse Gordon's going to take that Batmobile into 1 and 2.
Yeah, no, we have Jonathan McIntosh in second, so we're going to end up seeing if he's going to end up slowing up John Crosby from Jesse Gordon at that point. There he goes. He goes on the outside. We'll see if John's going to be able to make the pass on Jonathan McIntosh going into 3 and 4 at that point, going side by side now, Will.
Traffic jam into 3 and 4, side by side between the 09 and the 73 machine. Ooh. And we have a mover on the top side. That's Tyler Watts in the 54 machine. They're always fresh, never frozen in that Krispy Kreme car as he's to the top side of the 09. Look at Will Weber in the 40. They're trying an all-inch 4 position. We'll jump back just a little bit. There's the 5 of Brendan Hinton. We'll check out that drone camera as they'll go side by side into 3 and 4.
And Jesse Gordon's just already 0.7 of a second gap between him and John Crosby at that point. But we'll see if Jesse can end up continuing that sort of pace. Ooh, Tyler Waltz almost kind of coming down on top of Jonathan McIntosh, but John Crosby hitting the wall right there. But like I was saying, we'll see if Jesse can end up keeping that pace, because and Jesse's a good racer. Again, he won the truck race earlier this week. But Jesse tends to come out the gate super hot and heavy. He ends up burning up his tires pretty quick. So we'll see if that's going to end up happening. It looks like John is going to run the higher line, so he might save it and try and get him towards the, if they continue going green, saving it to where he can get him on the back end of the stint.
And you see John, he's almost just a card's length away to the topside wall. And I agree completely with what you were talking about there, Jacob. I believe this is just a conservation effort out of the 73, trying to save as much out of those tires as you can. Now you see him back to the low side of the racetrack. We have some guys down pit road as well. And I think those few laps of that restart, he'll let Jesse kind of build this lead a little bit here, Jacob. But at the same time, Jesse's using up his equipment. John has this opportunity to basically save in that second spot with nobody around him.
Yeah, no, and we'll see, just like you said, John just saving at that point and, towards the stint. Hopefully, unless if a late caution comes out, maybe towards the end, they'll end up pushing super hard. But if I was a betting man, I think John is going to really do a good job of saving, and I think he's going to end up battling it out probably towards the later end of the stint against Jesse.
You watch Jesse Gordon lead here on lap 86 live from Kansas Super Speedway. We'll watch these guys inside of the top 5. Some of these guys having great runs. Tyler Waltz, Will Weber, Jonathan McIntosh. Some newcomers inside of that top 10 as well, with Brian Sousa and Goey up there. But we'll look just outside of that top 10. We have Zach Engel, Thomas Wynn back here. All these guys trying to fight to stay on the lead lap as we're down the backstretch.
And it's unfortunate because I don't know what happened to Cody Deek. We'll see if he ended up having to make repairs. Yeah, only 20. Ooh, he's on the backside of Thomas Wynn at that point. But Cody Deek was running towards the front, but now he is currently 3 laps down. So I wonder if he ended up getting a speeding penalty through pit road.
As you see, he'll go around the 71 machine of Thomas Wynn, and that's exactly right. Cody Deek was one of those guys that I was watching having a great run here tonight, was throwing his hat into the mix of these guys, cracking through to try to get a podium or a top 5. As we'll check in with one of those guys, that's Todd Perrott, currently in the 8th position, trying to get around Brandon Hinton, who's looking good in that throwback paint scheme, rocking that little bit of yellow and black, the Pennzoil machine there, Jacob.
Yeah, no, that's Brandon. Brandon always brings out really good paint schemes. Again, my personal favorite is the not UPS, the Postal Service one that he was running a few weeks back, and man, it was great. It was one of my favorites. Super clean, white, little pinstriping, chef's kiss.
And just behind that throwback paint scheme, we have Todd Perrott rocking the Tide paint scheme, which makes me think of Ricky Craven out there to throw it back there for those NASCAR fans. As he'll now take that Tide machine to the low side of the racetrack to get around the 5 of Brandon Hinton. Todd Perrott trying to get back up inside of the top 5. He was there just a little while ago. He's telling the guys to save my seat because he's coming back for that top 5. Now has to get around Anthony hard, but he touches the wall. He touches the wall. Could be damage on that right side.
Yeah, it looks like he had brushed it just ever so slightly. And we'll check in with the race leader currently really quick. Jesse, he has a 2nd and 3/10 of a gap on John at this point. So I don't know. I might stand corrected. I mean, might be wrong. I mean, Jesse might end up having enough pace to where John's not going to be able to catch him at that point.
And for Jesse Gordon in that 1-0, of course, we weren't live with commentary last night for the O'Reilly series, but the only other driver to do this in the same week was Mr. W himself, John Crosby, and that's winning the truck race on Tuesday night and winning the Nextgens on Thursday night. So for Jesse Gordon, a lot at stake here tonight as he leads the way on lap 92.
Ooh, Todd into that wall again. Him and that wall coming out of 4, they're going to be buddies by the end of the race.
Two best friends that anyone can have as they're off of 4, and it's just that tricky of trying to get back on the gas pedal, keep that thing straight. And some of these guys are really struggling with it here off of that corner. You see into 3 and 4, you have more of a chance to really dive in, swing that car back out. We're going to jump on board here with the 54 machine of Tyler Watts, who has a great run going on here tonight, currently in that 3rd spot. Let's ride on board with him, Jacob, to see what his exit of 2 is like.
It's a lot better than what it was earlier because, like I said,
yeah.
he did end up getting loose out of 2 and lost quite a few positions. He was about 13th, 14th earlier on the race. He ended up saving it. He almost got into the lower wall, but luckily enough, he kept it pretty clean.
And what I love watching here in this point of view inside of that cockpit, Jacob, is that it's the touch. You know, we're driving these high horsepower machines, Nextgens, the Aero, everything like that, but you have to have just the slightest finesse on the gas pedal to time this just right. You saw his RPMs drift all the way back down and then slowly climb back up. And it's just that timing on how to lay that foot down onto the gas pedal. And some of these guys are mastering it here tonight. As Anthony Harden in that 6th spot will jump around the grid here. Cody Deek is currently in 16th. He's trying to get around some traffic to try to get some lap backs. He finds himself back on the lead lap though, as he'll get around Brandon Hinton in that 5. But really, Jacob, for the 13, he's got to hope for a caution to put him back in that lucky dog position.
Yeah, no, and again, looks like Cody is still, he's still roughly 3 laps down, unfortunately.
He might be back on the lead lap, but he has a long way to go, 3 laps down. So a long way to go for that 13 machine, but it's good to see Cody out on the racetrack, trying to finish this thing off. I know it went south of the 13. Great effort to close it out. But right in front of him, we do have a battle inside of the top 10 with Anthony Harden and Todd Perrott. The 77 machine is holding down that 6th spot. Jonathan McIntosh now up to 5th. Todd Perrott's just swinging that thing out of the corner to the top side of the racetrack, trying to ride that high line all the way around Kansas. As now Cody Deek will look to the inside of the 69. Cody's just trying to get around as many people as he can here, Jacob, but It's going to be tough being 3 laps down.
Yeah, no, it's I mean, Cody's had significant great pace this evening. It's just I don't know, you know, if we have a late caution, I will try and end up bringing him into the booth with us and right there to the wall, lordy.
That'll do it. That'll put some heavy damage on the right side of that 13. And there he goes again to the top side. He knows the 69 is there. I think that's the issue there, Jacob. He's trying to get up there to block. But I think that car is just not doing what he wants to do as we're off that corner. Todd Perront now stuck behind the 13. Currently in that 7th spot. Anthony Harden right in front of these guys.
Ooh,
caution's out. Third caution. Caution's out.
Let's see here. Let's see what I wonder.
Big pile up on the front stretch.
Yeah, looks like Brandon Yates ended up getting came in a little too hot on pit entry.
We'll watch here. This has happened. Now the second time this happened to Victor Etheridge just a little while ago.
Oh, he just hit that apron and it just turned him. That's unfortunate. I mean, he was trying to get on there clean.
We'll have to watch maybe from the steering wheel point of view. That looked as though maybe the steering wheel got away from him there, Jacob. We'll watch here as he hits that apron. He's okay. He's okay. He's okay.
And what
Still
you also
all right.
you also have Jesse Gordon right there behind him, teammate as well. Jesse's running in first. Heaven forbid if Brandon Yates came up the track and ended up taking out his teammate, that'd be a horrible way to end your night.
Oh boy, I think as you were mentioning that, I think it was just he felt the car go right and he turned right, and that just caused the car to just, man. It's sort of like what they tell you in driving school there, Jacob. If you feel the car sliding, don't turn to the slide, turn to the opposite direction. That'll keep you from sliding. But unfortunately, we almost collected his teammate and Jesse Gordon, who has been one of the fastest cars here tonight. But what a great shot of all the paint schemes down pit road as the entire field is getting a complete reset for this last run.
Yeah, no, we got Jesse Gordon coming out, John Crosby out the gate as well. Let's see if I don't know if John ended up beating him off pit road. I don't think so. No, he didn't. But I mean, I know roughly we got. It's 130 laps this evening. We're on lap 100, and we got roughly 28, 29 left to go. I mean, it's going to be a shootout towards the end. So we'll see if these guys, if Jesse and John are going to just gas pedal on the entire time, or see if one person's going to back off and allow the other to make a mistake.
Yeah, this is my absolute favorite part of the race, Jacob. Everybody's completely reset. Everybody's on a complete level playing field. If you want a shot at this thing, this is the time to do it. This is the time to make your move, to show what you got. We know that Jesse Gordon's going to have one heck of a restart. We saw it last time on that restart. John Crosby's to the outside. He lost Jesse on that last restart, so let's see if he can maybe keep him reeled in. For Tyler Waltz in that 54, boy, he's had a great week, Jacob. Could this be the week he breaks through? Now look at Will Weber back in the mix as well. Anthony Harden, Brandon Hinton, Todd Perront. All these guys realistically still have a shot at taking home the checkered flag.
I was going to say, everyone, I mean, Jesse's been pretty quick out the gate on restarts, but I mean, for the majority, I mean, everyone's been pretty quick this evening. I mean, John... Zach Engel up front I'm getting him mixed up with Tyler Waltz. Tyler Waltz has been up in the top 5. So is Jonathan McIntosh and Will Weber. Anthony Harden up there. But at this point, it's going to be a shootout. So we'll see if how Jesse's restart's going to be out the gate. Pace car is in.
There we go. Jesse Gordon will take the pack into 1 and 2 with John Crosby right there. Tyler Waltz in the 54 right on that back bumper. What a restart into the corner.
Yeah, what a jump from Jesse. It looked like John got a little loose. Ooh, John's going to lay the hammer down. Ooh, I like this. I like this a lot. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, caution's out.
Caution's out. Caution's out.
I was starting to get excited.
Ooh, fourth
big
caution
wreck.
of the night here.
Oh, big wreck. Big wreck. Let's see here. Anthony Harden. Oh, gets Will Weber turned. Oh. And then.
Don't tell me it's all the guys I just mentioned on the restart. Oh, no.
Yeah, the only name
no.
the only name I don't think we mentioned was Anthony Harden because you got
Will Weber in the 40, Todd Perront in the 69.
yeah, let's see here.
Oh, boy.
Todd Perront comes up into the side of Brandon Hinton. Oh, did Todd Perront end up collecting someone as well? Oh.
And boy, that's just tight racing there, unfortunately, between both of those guys. It's the same thing happened to both pairs of drivers right here. It's just the exit off of 2. It's the exit off of 2 here at Kansas. It just gets everybody all clear.
Yeah.
Boy. What
Hopefully,
a crazy turn of events.
we'll check in on Brandon, and I mean, I don't think he got much damage. I don't think he just. It looks like he just got turned. Ooh, Anthony Harden hit the wall hard.
No damage.
Yeah, no damage. He might have a little bit, but it's not going to be anything significant like Anthony Harden.
Wow. Now under caution for the 4th time here on a Thursday night. They're going to get re-racked here. We'll run through that top 10. We got Jesse Gordon, John Crosby, Tyler Watts, Jonathan McIntosh, Zach Engel, Brian Sousa, Thomas Wynn, Sean Dion, goalie in 9th, and Will Weber in that 10th position. But we're going to step aside for just a short break. We'll be right back for the conclusion of Kansas on a Thursday night.
Coming closer, know that I'm a mess. Tangled up in wires, I can't catch my breath. I run. Falling deeper, I cannot confess. Drowning in the chaos, I can't catch my breath. I run. Catch my Coming closer, know that I'm a mess. Tangled up in wires, I can't catch my breath. I run. Falling deeper, I cannot confess. Drowning in the chaos, I can't catch my breath. I run. Coming closer, know that I'm a mess. Tangled up in wires, I can't catch my breath. I run. Falling deeper, I cannot confess. Drowning in the chaos, I can't catch my breath. I run.
Just let me know when.
You are live, Sir Will.
All right, we're back here in the Rock Chalk Jayhawk state of Kansas on a Thursday night. The iRacing lights, our pace car lights are off. It is time to try this restart out for size. The last one didn't go so hot as we had 2 pairs of drivers both collect themselves in the same way. So let's see if we can get around the track cleanly and end this thing out. We have Jesse Gordon, John Crosby, Tyler Waltz, Jonathan McIntosh, Zach Engel, Brian Sousa, Thomas Wynn, Sean Dion, goalie, and Will Weber, our top 10 here on this restart. We saw John Crosby's win streak end last week. Could he get back to his winning ways here? We'll have to wait and see as they come thundering across that start-finish line. Jesse Gordon will take us into one big push out of the 54.
Yeah, no, John Crosby on that restart just got a little loose out the gate. And then Tyler Waltz was just right there on the backside of Jesse Gordon. And we'll see how they're going to end up taking it out of 2 at this point. Ooh, Jonathan.
Big wiggles.
Yeah, Jonathan McIntosh getting a little loose. What we've seen a lot of the guys doing whenever they're pushing out of 2. little side-by-side action between Thomas Wynn.
Oh, here goes. Two big dogs going at it for the lead. John Crosby, Jesse Gordon side by side. They'll go at it, going into 1 and 2. Oh, Jesse Gordon gets loose. He has to slide out of the way. John Crosby to the low side of the racetrack. They come thundering through 1 and 2. Now down the backstretch.
Oh,
here
we
comes Tyler
go.
Waltz to the inside of Jesse Gordon. Will he be able to take the spot? Tyler Waltz in the 54. He'll inch to the low side of the racetrack.
Ooh.
The 110 trying to get down there to block him.
Oh,
Not
door to
gonna get
door.
enough as they touch off of 4. Still side by side across the start-finish line.
Ooh, this is what we want all day long from these guys. Let's see if they keep it clean, side by side through 1 and 2. And I think Jesse's
a little bit of anything you can do, I can do better here, Jacob, down the backstretch.
Yeah, no, we'll see if Jonathan McIntosh is going to be able to get into the mix of it between Tyler Waltz and Jesse Gordon at that point.
Coming off of 4, John Crosby loves to see this out of his rear view. He also loves the fact that people can see his back bumper for that JC73 10% off code at W Energy. They can get that coupon code right off the back bumper of that car, but you got to get around him as we're coming down the backstretch here. Ooh, Jesse Gordon into the wall. He scrapes the wall coming off of 2. Will Weber now going to go at it with Brian Sousa. Will Weber trying to creep up the grid, currently in that 7th spot. A lot of positions still to be gained here, Jacob, as we come off of 4.
Yeah, no, it's pretty much for the guys that are on the lead lap, it's essentially it's a drag race, especially down that backstretch.
Big swing from the low side back into traffic as Jesse Gordon. I'm not sure if he's going to have enough here, Jacob, as we're down the backstretch. The lead starting to shrink just ever so slightly as we're now into the apex of 3 and 4.
Ooh, I don't know. I think Jesse's going to be able to pick up the draft on the next backstretch whenever they come through. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Let's ride on board with him to kind of see how he's feathering it out, coming out of 2. I think he's going to be able to get the draft, maybe.
Oh, he's got that thing redlined all the way down the backstretch. He is trying to squeeze every last bit of lemonade out of that lemon.
Oh,
as we come off of 4.
God dang.
Big impact.
Everyone's kissing that wall tonight.
Boy, big impact at the 110, but it is time to throw up those 3s. Rest in peace to Dale Earnhardt, because we have 3 laps to go here in the Rock Chalk Jayhawk state of Kansas as we're down the backstretch. Tyler Waltz in that 54 machine trying to hold on to that podium spot. He'll feel the pressure from Jonathan McIntosh in that 4th position. As right now, that lead still stands at about .33. We jump back inside of that top 10. Sean Dion is now cracked inside as he'll put that 3 machine just ahead of that 69. Todd Perrott trying to hold on as Brandon Hitton there as well. He might find himself out of the top 10.
3 wide.
He's going to hold on here as we're going to go 3 wide off of the corner for the top 10 down the backstretch.
Ooh, getting squirrely. Let's check in towards the race leaders because Tyler Waltz is about 2/10 off of Jesse Gordon.
Oh, as we're off of 4, John
Final
Crosby will take the white flag. Mr. W himself is feeling it here tonight into 1 and 2. Jesse Gordon will go to the high side of the 110. There goes Tyler Waltz in the 54. He's trying to get a run off the corner. Jesse Gordon again scrapes the top side wall. Down the backstretch we go. Tyler Waltz in the 3rd spot. Jesse Gordon in 2nd. Oil leader will come off of 4.
He's not gonna have
Mr.
enough
W
juice.
himself will make it 7. Wins here in the Next Gens as John Crosby wins at Kansas.
Good for John. Good for John. I mean, that was a wonderful finish towards the end, especially from him, Jesse, and Tyler. I thought Tyler was going to end up catching up to Jesse out towards the end of the race.
What a finish. Jesse Gordon's going to come home 2nd. Tyler Waltz in that 54 machine is going to come home 3rd. One of his best performances in all the series so far here this season. He almost had enough. He was moving that 54, so was that 110, but John, I think, just did a great job of conserving those last few laps. We actually watched him start to conserve there, Jacob. and it pays out in dividends because now what could be our championship, I'd have to say favorite, now with 7 wins on the season, he is just absolutely putting on a show here in these next gens.
Yeah, no, and at that point, I mean, especially with a win, I mean, it's going to bump him up even more in the standings at that point. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if John has this championship in the bag.
It is going to be quite an uphill battle, but it is not an easy battle. Here tonight had to face the 1-1-0. Tyler Waltz had the best run of his series so far. But boy, he is getting used to doing this here on the front stretch. And once again, folks, if you don't know already, he is sponsored by W Energy. Make sure to go and use that code JC73 for that 10% off all your W Energy needs. And Jacob, I got to say, maybe I should go get some W Energy and I'll be winning our races. I mean, man, ever since he's gotten that sponsor, that new livery on that car, he's just been on a tear.
Yeah, he has. No, I'm right there with you. Oh, it looks like he blew up the motor. Yeah, no, I need to go get some W Energy too, because I mean, yeah, this guy is putting a beat down on some of these guys in the Next Gen series.
Boy, absolutely. And I guess you can't take it to the next track. You might as well blow it up here at Kansas. But it is time to catch up with our podium finishers. And as mentioned, Jacob, I'd have to say this is probably one of his best performances so far this season. A man who switched up the paint schemes, never frozen, always fresh, always look for the light on. Driving that Krispy Kreme machine, you're catching up with the 54 of Tyler Waltz.
Howdy, fellas.
Well, how does it feel to be on a podium finally, sir?
I think I finally whipped the wheel into shape. What do you think?
I think so too. Like I said, ever since you switched wheels, you've been what's the saying that we always say? A dart without feathers, correct?
A big one. The biggest of darts.
Well, kind of walk us through those final laps of the race. So what made the difference in terms of pace to be able to get yourself onto that podium? Because you were, earlier in the race, you ended up getting really loose out of 2, and it kind of set you back pretty hefty. And so what, in those closing laps, again, what allowed you or helped you to be able to work your way towards the front?
I really think it's the 200 laps I put in before the practice session opened. But that, I don't know. I got loose out of 2 early in the race, and I was like, well, shit, here we go again.
Now, did you feel like you were going to end up catching up to Jesse towards those last few laps?
If he'd hit the wall a couple more times, I might have. He is hard to pass though. Jesse and John are 2 of the best guys we got here.
Yeah.
So.
How hard was it to manage your tires while still racing aggressively towards the end?
Well, the cautions helped out a lot. I think we had that 30 lap run and then got a caution. My right front was at 66 and everything else was in the high 80s. So it was really just driving in too deep. But once you figured out, what you were doing and then how to fix it, it wasn't that bad.
Gotcha. So now Tyler, or Will, you have anything for Tyler at that point?
Yeah, Tyler, before we let you go, my man, you put that Krispy Kreme machine on the podium. Yes, my only question for you is, what's your favorite kind of donut to match that paint scheme?
Boston cream, hands down, best donut of all.
Are we doing vanilla cream or chocolate cream?
Vanilla.
Ah, okay. All right. Now we know, Jacob. All right.
Okay.
Got a podium with this paint scheme, so got to keep running it.
I was about to say,
that's it.
You gotta keep. Hey, but you gotta say, your Jordan paint scheme is pretty baller. I don't know.
The Jordan truck is
it's the GOAT.
Nice.
It's the GOAT, especially whenever
might be the greatest paint scheme I've ever cooked up.
Especially whenever you do the baby blue metallic, it's phenomenal. So the Krispy Kreme and the Jordan one might be 50-50 for keeping them on there.
I haven't made one of the metallic blues for the Ram yet, so maybe I should.
Ooh, Woo-hoo. Well, again, Tyler, congratulations. It's always good seeing you on the podium. Any recognition or shout out to any sponsors or anything that need recognized this evening?
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to Tom. He had surgery yesterday, and I think he said he's doing better than he thought he was going to do. So he might not miss as much time as he was expecting to.
Oh,
But
okay,
just hoping
perfect.
for a healthy recovery for him, and can't wait to get him back on the track.
Awesome, awesome. No, we need to get old man Tom up there because he always allows everyone to, like, if you're significantly faster, he'll let you pass.
Yeah.
But for the most part, if he feels like he has the pace on you, he's not gonna let you pass, and he'll throw the elbows out. I've been a victim a
Oh
couple
yeah,
of times.
yeah. Hey, if Tom was racing, I don't know if I'm here with this interview. So
He is Mr. Consistent for
he
podium
is.
finishes.
He's always up here.
Yeah.
But I'll let y'all get to Jesse. I know we got work tomorrow and stuff, so I won't keep y'all too late.
All right, brother. Well, congratulations again, and we'll holler at you later.
Yeah, man. Y'all have a good one. Appreciate you guys.
Yeah, yes, sir. That was the driver of the 54, Tyler Waltz, who will come home in that third position. Tomorrow, I hope he goes and gets that Boston cream donut because he has earned it here tonight with that run. Now it is time to talk to the guy who is going to come up just one position short from making it a clean live sweep here in Rat Think Racing League. The only other driver that has done that is the man who finished just in front of this driver. We're catching up of the driver of the Batmobile, the 110, Mr. Jesse Gordon himself. And Jesse, it looks as though you gave it just about everything you could. It just wasn't enough there at the end.
Yeah, this was a really up and down race for me. I had no practice coming into this, so it was really blind for me. And the first stint was a huge learning curve as far as how the tires wore. And coming off of turn 2, I lost it once for sure and spun down the backstretch, but I almost lost it a few other times and was able to save it. But yeah, it was chaotic. And then second stint, I was able to kind of gather it together and make my marks. And yeah, the last little 5-lap run, I didn't want to see the caution come out because I was pretty well good position. But then that last 5 laps, I don't know what happened with either the track or the tires, but it was so tight. That's why I missed the entry to 3, and Crosby got under me. And once he was there on my door, I couldn't turn down or do anything. So it was just a drag race after that, and he got by me, and that was all she wrote because the air matters so much on these.
Yeah, it's basically like a paper plane out there that you guys are driving. And so I have to say, just looking at the race, looking back on it, that little slightest mistake is basically what you're saying was the difference. And what I was going to ask about is those restarts. It looks as though, you could get a good jump and check out on the restart. John could do the same thing. Was there a better line on those restarts, the low side or the high side, especially for you guys in the front?
Yeah, I thought the low line entering off of off of a restart would work out better just because you can pretty much flat foot it and it's a shortest distance. But he was able to get a big run on the second line because there's a little more progressive banking. So I took that into note for the second restart and was able to run that second groove, and he wasn't able to get that run down the backstretch. So I did learn that starting on the inside is obviously preferred, but if you can clear by turn 1, then you run that second groove, keep your momentum, and try to obviously a little air blocking too, but it's tough. Yeah, I was able to get good restarts, but like I said, going into 3, just had no grip for some reason, and it just washed out and wasn't able to hit the bottom, and that's when Crosby got under me. So yeah, it's unfortunate, but it happens.
Yeah, great race nonetheless. And before I throw it over to Jacob with some questions, I wanted to ask you, it felt like it was a little bit of a different, I came on a little bit late to the broadcast, but it felt like a little bit of a different race between you and the 73, where neither one of you guys are just the leader in general. You guys couldn't really check out with the lead as you could do on other tracks. I think maybe the largest you got the lead up to was probably about a second and a half, 1.3 maybe. but it just seemed like the further you got in that open air, it was the more and more wear you were causing on your car. Is that sort of the like a good observation of the race?
Basically, kind of, you had to manage your tires through the run. So you wanted to get a further gap than at least 1 second. So, because that way they wouldn't be able to draft you down the straightaways. And from there you can maintain it. But if you were a second or less, then the second car could catch up to you. And up until they get, in the dirty air in the corners. And then that's usually about under half a second is when that really starts to affect. So you could maintain that 1 second to half second gap usually, but if the leader got out on you more than that, it was pretty hard to catch them. But they couldn't just drive away for 5 seconds or so. But it would need a long run to see how everybody wore their tires to really see that gap increase. But yeah, the cars were so evenly matched the way you had to drive these on this track and the temperature of it. So it was fun though. It was a good race, good battle. Yeah, you can't win them all.
I'm going to come up one position short. And Jacob, before we let him go, anything for Jesse Gordon in that 1-1-0? Another great run in the Batmobile.
No, I mean, Will, you kind of hit everything, or touched on everything that I was going to ask Jesse. But my last question to Jesse is, Jesse, I know you say that you're kind of iffy about running consistently in some of these series, and I think we're starting to get a pretty good taste of what you're going to bring to the table. So, if my opinion matters, and I hope you take it. I hope you end up running consistent in both the trucks in the next gens and kind of throwing the hammer out and kind of beating some of these guys around for some more championship points, brother.
It would be nice if I could. I know Tuesdays would be the only night I could for sure with my work schedule, but yeah, because every other week I work Thursdays, so yeah, it's here and there when I can run, but honestly, I prefer driving the O'Reillys or the trucks over the next gens.
Oh, okay.
Just for fun purposes. The next gens just, to me, it's very temperamental, and the feel of the car is so like numb through the steering wheel. It's really hard to get a grip and grasp, and then once it snaps on you, it's almost impossible to save, and it's just really touchy. And that's why a lot of the Cup guys in real life, they run these cars and they complain about the same things, and they prefer running down in like the O'Reillys. They have a better time, honestly.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the same feel on here. It's pretty realistic. They got the handling and feel of these cars.
Gotcha. Well, we'll let you go, but like always, I know that you had you ended up winning the Truck Series this week, and now the podium in the Next Gen Series. But any special recognition for any sponsors or shout outs that need to be recognized?
Yeah, just my sponsors that sponsor me in real life is Amsoil, Cretus Tires, Davis Trenching, United Tint and Wraps, Empire Motorsports. And of course, the track, my local track, is Parasaddle Speedway.
Awesome. Well, congratulations again, Jesse. And if, as always good to have you out on the track with the boys. And congratulations again on the P2 finish.
Perfect. Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Have a good evening, brother.
You too.
That was Jesse Gordon, the driver, the 1-1-0, going to be coming home second here tonight in that Batmobile. And Jacob, along with you, I got my fingers crossed that he can commit to at least the trucks. I'll give him that. I'll give him the trucks on the Tuesday night because, boy, he has come in on fire in both series. And like I mentioned before we wrapped up that race, he was trying to do something that had only been done once before, and that's win in 2 different series in the same week. And that feat has been done by the man who will make it now 7 wins on the season. Boy, he is running away with this Next Gen Championship. Has some work to do in some of the other series, including that Truck Series, which he could still get a podium championship finish in that series. But boy, back to his winning ways here in the Rock Chalk Jayhawk state of Kansas. It is time to catch up once again with the 73 machine of John Crosby. And John, we were just talking with Jesse.
Yeah.
This wasn't an easy race. This had some challenges. The restarts were tricky, the tire wear, the equipment. It was definitely a battle between you two guys, and then you both had to work through the field multiple times as well. Take us through your point of view of the race.
Yeah, it was all going good till it wasn't, and we had a caution at like lap 80, I think, and I came in with the lead and left, I think, 5th, and I don't know what happened, but my car would not go. I had put it in gear, and it sat there. So I don't know what happened. I put it in reverse, then put it back into first, and it went clunk and went. It's like, okay. So that was very unfortunate, and if we didn't have that last caution, then there's nothing I could have done.
Boy,
So,
that sort of sounds like my daily driver right there.
Yeah.
Goodness, John.
Been
But
there, done that.
you made the most of it, though. You did battle. Take us through, because Jesse was kind of talking about it was a race where you guys could get out to the lead, but you couldn't really increase the lead for more than a second. And by doing that, it just allowed that guy to catch that draft, kind of reel you back in. Did you kind of fight that tug of war all race long?
Well, no, I mean, I ran the majority up front, in the lead, and I had clean air, and I didn't think, it was going to be that bad. But Brian was telling me, he was like, this is dumb. And I said, yeah, I get it. So once I came out of the pits, in 5th, I was like, oh, I'm screwed. And I got up to 2nd, and I couldn't catch Jesse. Nothing I could have done. So, being in dirty air is just a killer.
It was a killer there, but I think what Jesse was talking about, he couldn't get it to more than a second, and by doing that, you were catching the draft off of him, which was reeling him in on that.
Yeah.
And I think I asked Jesse the same question here. On the restarts, you only had about 3 or 4 of them here tonight, but we watched you get a rocket restart, really check out. Jesse did the same thing. Was there a particular line on the racetrack? He had said the low side was what he thought was the best line, but then he saw you on the high side beat him on that last restart. So was there a particular line, or was it just timing it on the restart?
Once he got out in front of me, I didn't know what to really do. So wherever there wasn't dirty air, that last restart, he moved up a lane, and I had a feeling he was going to do that. So I just shot down and and I had a better run on him. So I went down to that first lane, and he was up higher, which usually gives you a better run off. But just catching his draft just really helped there. And then I sent it into 3 and got side by side with him, tried to get him a little tight, which worked pretty well, I think. So, or apparently it worked pretty dang well. So you got the lead from it. So, it was those restarts were kind of tricky.
Jacob, anything for our race winner as I go place my W Energy order using that code JC73?
Yeah.
Hey,
go ahead. Did you finally figure out the
retro sherbet?
Oh,
my new favorite.
Try
it out.
How many different flavors do they have?
You don't want to know.
Okay. How many grams of caffeine does it have?
You don't want to know. I'm just kidding. I don't. We talked about this.
I was gonna say you still didn't figure it out.
Well, one of this thing says 8,333%. So I don't know what that's all about, but I'm not going to look at that one. But I was supposed to do some homework, and I didn't, and I apologize.
It's all good. Next week, whenever you get on the podium, we'll ask you the same question.
Hey, dude. Why gotta call that out? Don't say that. Don't jinx
me. You got a championship race on Tuesday there, Jacob. He's got plenty of time.
I know. Two quick questions. John, just I'm not going to really go into detail on anything because Will's he's already hit everything on the head that I was going to ask you. He read exactly he read my mind.
Super good at it. Super good.
So the first question is any special shout outs or recognition to any of your YouTube fans or sponsors or anything of that nature?
Well, we were talking about YouTube or fans this morning, and I told Jacob that I had a box fan and a ceiling fan. So I think he's lying, but who knows? But
I think
big shout out to everyone that pulls for me every week. So I definitely appreciate it. Shout out to Dubby, Whiskey Throttle Racing. I know Brian was in there, and he had a kind of a tough time because he was just in the back, and there's nothing you can do. So in dirty air. So and we're starting the league up on Mondays.
Whoa,
So
whoa, hold up. Just, no, I'm just kidding.
I was about to say Jacob already knows about it.
No, go ahead.
What's called the Godsby Race League. So a guy from another league that's on my team and I are starting it up and getting a bunch of help from Chuck Burley, from Jacob, from Brian, and the whole Rat Fink team. So just a huge shout out to them. I'm learning new stuff every day. So yeah, definitely excited to start that on May 4th. First race is ARCA at Charlotte. So if you guys want to come out, we'd love to see you.
May the force be with us racing that race, right?
That's the reason we
Absolutely.
did it.
Star Wars Day.
But yeah, super excited about that. A big shout out to Dubby for sponsoring us today. And yeah, like Will said, Will already covered it, but JC73 at checkout for 10% off. So we'll get you hooked up and get you excited, just as excited as me. And I'm not jittery because it's jitterless, but I'm ramped up at
Hell yeah.
time is it? 11:16 at night. So I'm probably not going to sleep, but it'll be all right.
Well, hell's bells. Get off here, John, and we'll see you next week, back Tuesday, and in the truck series. But congratulations again on your win this evening, and have a great weekend, brother.
Awesome, guys. Thank you so much, and you as well.
Thanks, brother.
See ya.
Yes, sir. That was the 73 of John Crosby, and reminisce of Bugs Bunny and Space Jam with the secret stuff. John Crosby is definitely sipping on some secret stuff in that Dubby Energy container, because that makes it win number 7 here on a Thursday night in these next gens. And it wasn't easy here tonight. Jacob had to fight some adversity. Both drivers did a great job of breaking it down of what they went through in this race. It was good until it wasn't. We had about 3 cautions there in a span of about 5 minutes or so. Get kind of hairy there at the end. But of course, it is John Crosby with the most laps led here tonight. Started on that pole position. That means, folks, he goes wire to wire here at Kansas. Fastest lap does go to Jesse Gordon, and the hard charger goes to Jesse as well, coming up 13 spots from the drop of the green flag. Jacob, not the biggest field here tonight at Kansas, but boy, that didn't limit the excitement and the competitiveness of this race down the stretch.
Yeah, no, I was a little worried out the gate because the field size was kind of small until about 10 minutes till the session was starting. I mean, we roughly only had like 11 or 12 guys, but then it filled up. We had 19 tonight, and yeah, I mean it was close battles all throughout the field. Yeah, we had a couple of guys some laps down, but I mean, I would say it was 80-90% of the race, and it was just those few late cautions that ultimately ended up collecting a few drivers. But man, it was a hard fought race, and there was a lot of excitement, especially towards the end. It was the drag race between Jesse Gordon and John Crosby, and then Tyler Waltz was shortly right there behind him. And I think if we had a few more laps, I think Tyler would have ended up catching up with Jesse. But ultimately, this is just how the cookie crumbles. But it was good to see Tyler on the podium, and again, Jesse had won the truck race on Tuesday, and John just doing John things in the next gen series and just kind of just blowing these guys out of the water in the championship standings. But we'll see if these guys will end up catching up to John as the season progresses. But other than that, it's been the John Crosby show.
Absolutely. And what gets me most excited here, Jacob, especially in these next gen on these Thursday nights, if you haven't already, make sure to hit that like button, that subscribe button, that notification bell. Because what I'm seeing happening is, although John Crosby has 7 wins, Jesse Gordon has that win a week ago, you're starting to see some new names starting to rise in this series with about 6 races to go. Tyler Waltz is one of those names you mentioned now with that podium finish. Jonathan McIntosh ran really well here tonight. Will Weber back in the mix. Brian Sousa as well. So who knows down the stretch of who could bust through into victory lane. I know right now we're watching Jesse Gordon, John Crosby, but I feel like some of these guys are really starting to figure it out, Jacob. We could see some new names in victory lane before the season's over.
Yeah, no, I mean, the one that always kind of like comes to mind as I'm looking at the finishing order. Sorry, I lost my train of thought for a second. Will Weber. I mean, I would like to see. I mean, Will is pretty consistent out the gate, and he ran towards the front majority. I mean, of the race. You know, excuse me. Finished in 6th this evening. He got caught up into a little bit of some traffic, but man, for the most part, I think Will has the potential to be competing towards some podium finishes.
And folks, if you're curious about all these stats and all these things that we talk about here on the broadcast, we pull them all from RFRLleague.com. It is a complete breakdown of all your favorite drivers, shows all of their previous history. It actually shows a meter too, Jacob, on whether they're cold or hot or they're building or they're going to be champion. There's the magic number meters on there. That site will give you everything you need to know about all your favorite drivers as this season plays out. You can find a link to that in the comment section of this video here description. You can also find it on the homepage of the YouTube as well. And Jacob, next race next week. We're looking at about 6 races to go here in the season. I know John Crosby's done a great job of essentially locking in that points title. Tom Ringer is out of it there in the 2nd spot, but that really opens the door for a couple of guys to really get their championship hopes really brewing. You know, we look at the point standings there: Todd Perront, Cody Deek, Brandon Hinton, Brian Sousa, Anthony Hart, Tyler Waltz. Who knows with Tyler if he could maybe get himself up to that 3rd spot and walk away with a podium championship finish.
Yeah, he very well might, and that's so looking at this, Todd Perront finished 10th. Cody Deek 14th, Brandon Hinton finished 11th. I mean, it's going to be a close battle between Todd Perront and Brandon Hinton, which, shockingly enough, in another league that the 3 of us race in, Todd Perront and Brandon Hinton, both of those guys are teammates. So it's in that other league. So it should be interesting to see how it all kind of plays out with the next couple of races. And next week, we are racing at Talladega. So at that point, I mean, that's going to be anyone's race. I mean, that's what happens at super speedways. It's just, unfortunately, it's the luck of the draw.
Oh, you should see my smile up here in the booth. I cannot wait for Sweet Home Talladega next week with these next gens. Boy, super speedway, high banks, championship hopes, new names trying to break through. I cannot wait for next Thursday. And guys, you cannot forget we have a championship race on Tuesday night as well. But before we get to that, Jacob, let's run through those official results here from Kansas. Of course, we just spoke to our podium finishers of John Crosby, Jesse Gordon, and Tyler Waltz. Coming home in 4th, we have Jonathan McIntosh. 5th, Zach Engel. 6th is going to be Will Weber, that dark horse to watch out for. 7th is going to be Brian Sousa. 8th is going to be Thomas Wynn. 9th, Sean Dion. And rounding out our top 10, Todd Perront. Just outside of that top 10, we have Brandon Hinton finishing in 11th. Cameron Gully finishing in 12th. Ethan Horst finishing in 13th. Cody Deek, man, he tried his best to try to get some of those laps back, but he'll come home in the 14th position, 2 laps down. Anthony Harden in that 77, the John Deere tractor, will finish 15th. Brandon Yates, 16th. Victor Etheridge, Blue Lightning, with just the slightest mistake there, got completely loose, cost him that race, going to finish 17th. Running through the rest of that, we have Chuck Burley, the mastermind behind the website, in Alan Bergen will be our official results here from Kansas. Before we wrap up, Jacob, any final words for the folks at home before we leave the Rock Chalk Jayhawk State?
No, sir. Will actually, yes. Just going to go back to the website again. Everyone, if you're interested in stats, statistics, the schedule, recap, the drivers, the series, the tracks that we're racing. I mean, we currently have again 4 series. That's the Nextgen series, the Truck series, the O'Reilly series, and our newest edition on Saturday evenings, the Late Model series, which is ran by Sir Mark Holloway. He's not able to run with us during the week, but he runs that series along with Tom, and we run those on Saturday as well. Shout out to Chuck Burley for putting the time and effort into this website, because I am currently looking on here, and truth behold, Mr. John Crosby is the hot driver of the week, I do believe. We have a couple of other. No, currently I'm scrolling through here. It is just John right now that's hot. So shout out to Mrs. Crosby being able to lay next to a hot man this evening for the win.
Oh no!
But other than that, that's all I got. But everyone, if you're interested in see what's going on, if you're wanting to join the league or check out the rules or other broadcasts associated with the league, you can check it all out there at RFRLeague.com.
And boy, I gotta say, I'm not exaggerating when I say that website is more detailed than the ESPN website. It'll give you a bigger breakdown of stats, streaks, previous runs, previous tracks. Just overall, just a great breakdown. Go check that out here when we get off of this broadcast. But for all of us here at the Think Racing League, we want to send congratulations to John Crosby, making it win number 7. Jesse Corden coming home second. Tyler Waltz in that third spot. If you liked what you were watching here tonight, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. That notification bell will keep you updated with everything that comes along our at Think Racing League. As Jacob just mentioned, we are live just about every day of the week here, bringing you iRacing action across 3 different classes. So make sure to check one of those out to see which your favorite series may be. But it is Sweet Home Talladega next Thursday night at 9:40 Eastern Standard Time. Check in to see if John Crosby can keep it going once again. If not, we'll see you on Tuesday for that championship truck race in the Tuesday Night Truck Series. But for all of us, my name is William Tiller. I've been joined up here by lead commentator and producer Jacob Williams. We want to wish everybody a great night. We'll catch you back here. And shout out to Mr. Consistency himself, Tom Ringer. Get well, buddy. We'll see you soon. Have a great night, everybody.
We are back here on the Think Racing. 130 laps, 3 sets of tires, as they're rolling off pit road.
Dr. Friday, you got a copy up there? I do, sir. You ready to kick this thing off? Let's rock and roll. Hey, stars off. You ready?
Green flag here at Racing once again in the Think Racing League.
First opportunity getting into turn 1 and 2, and they're going to see Nate Lesko on the bottom side of that Nesquik Toyota Camry. Huge run.
John Crosby in the 77. We'll go at it. The 73 and the 77. Door to 1
Out
and
of
2.
turn 4, and they start heading back. Oh, the name wreck 18th round big boom on the ringer. Just hurled to the inside. That was nearly a mess.